All right, we're back, and I got something really cool to show you. I just finished chambering the first ever 358 Ultra Mag Alaskan. Vicki, try to use your zoom. Can you zoom in on that?
Yes.
Okay, there's the print for it. This is a really cool cartridge. The more I look at it, the cooler I think it is. I just got done talking to the customer, who's a pretty knowledgeable guy, by the way. I get along with him really well. He sort of designed this. If I was a young guy and I was going back to being a serious elk hunter, and I'm not talking about 1,000-yard elk hunter, I'm talking about, say, 750 or under, or perhaps hunting in the timber, this is a heck of a cartridge. It starts out as a 375 REM Ultra Mag case, and I believe this is ADG brass. It's really, that's a big cartridge. If you don't realize how big that is, this is what it looks like with the bullet in it. All right, I'm going to hold another one up here in a second for perspective. But he is going to be shooting out of it. These are 275 grain hammer monolithic bullets. I mean, look at the size of those bullets. Can you see that, Vicki?
Yes.
Okay, these are big bullets. And his quick loads, his program, he's figured it out. He thinks these are going to be running north of 3,000 feet a second. I think he said the case is expected to hold 120 grains of powder. So this is going to be just a monster of a cartridge. This, for perspective, this is the 33XC. Again, I don't know if you can see it there. Can you do your zoom? Look at this. Now, 33XC is a gigantic cartridge, but this isn't far behind. I mean, this is a really, 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 really big cartridge. I want to show you something. So here's the reamer. This is a Manson reamer. By the way, when you pick up reamers, be careful because they are very sharp. This is brand new. It's the first time I ever used it. The first chamber I ever did, it cut very well. This, just for perspective, this is a 308 reamer. Okay? I mean, this thing is monstrous. If I was going to be a young guy, again, and if I was going to be an elk hunter, I would really seriously consider this cartridge. Because you think about this, a 275 grain all copper bullet that this gentleman says are really accurate. These hammer bullets going 3,000 or more feet a second. Holy cow, that thing would be absolutely awesome. What else did I want to show you? I wanted to show you, here's the barrel stub off of this. This barrel was a Bartlein, and this is .349 bore and 357. Did I just say that backwards? 349, 357. Here, see if you can zoom in on that. Again, that's partly why we're doing this. See if we can mess with this camera and figure out how to work it. Can you see it?
Oh, cool. Yes.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I never had done 358 before, and I didn't know exactly what dimensions this barrel was going to be. So I needed a range rod. And I needed bushing. See, that's a bushing in there. And so I ordered the whole set, and this is for anybody else that might be following along here and doing the same type of thing. The set ran from 0.349 to 0.356. So 349, 349.2, 349.4, 340 like that. And I didn't realize this is going to be 349, and indeed it is. It seems like it might even be a hair smaller than that. So out of the whole dang set of bushings, pilot bushings, which go on the reamer also and on your range rod, the only one that would fit is the 0.349. So if you're doing this, maybe you have more information than I do, and you know what the barrel is going to be, you actually need bushing. So Vicki's going to order two more, a 03488 and a 03486 is what I told you, right?
Correct.
So that you have some that are on the other side also. And I just screwed that off. anyways, this I think this is going to be an awesome cartridge. Oh, and that's something I wanted to say. So we always tell everybody that we shoot every single gun we build. Well, this one we're not going to shoot. The customer and I have talked about this at length. This is going to require a lot of hand tools and stuff because of the different diameter, 358, that I don't have. And so this gun, once this gun's done, it's going to go straight to him, and he's going to shoot it. And potentially, we're talking about maybe he's going to make a video shooting this gun. So this will be one out of hundreds. I think, has there maybe been one or two other ones ever that I haven't shot? Because I pretty much shot every gun that we've ever built. But I can think of maybe one or two. Anyways, we're building this on a bat solid bottom receiver, which is a really good idea because, again, look how big this cartridge is, okay? I mean, that's a big cartridge. You don't want to try to force that up out of a detachable box magazine, or definitely not out of a BDL style. I mean, that's a big cartridge. A bat HR receiver. Now I want you to come over here, and we may switch the camera right here so that, before that, wait. Another reason why I started this is, I don't know if you've ever read the book, Rifle Accuracy Facts by Harold R. Vaughn, okay? In that book, and by the way, it's in one of Brian Litz's books also, he quotes this: the junction between the barrel, shoulder, and the face of the receiver. He talks in there about all the experiments that he did, and he thinks, assuming everything else is correct, that means assuming you have a good barrel, etc., he thinks that the receiver, Harold R. Vaughn, thinks that the receiver barrel joint, where they come together, is one of the most important factors in everything to do with accuracy. And again, now that's assuming you've got a good barrel, assuming you've got a good receiver, assuming you've got a good scope, etc., etc. So I want to, because we have this new camera that we can zoom in, I want to show you how these come together, because this one is really good. And it's very important that they're all really good, or, according to him and according to me, they won't shoot. So what we're going to do here is Vicky's going to thread this on, and I'm going to hold the camera. All right, give me that. Okay. Oh, I need my cheater glasses right there. Okay, now wait, let me zoom in on this first. I mean, because that's the whole point of this. Just wait till I figure out how to do it. Okay, now you can see what we got there. And come over here with your finger, Vicky. Show them the shoulder junction of what I'm talking about. Wait, I'm out of focus again. Okay, right, let's see if I can go in even closer. Whoa, I'll have to edit this. Okay. All right, that's what we're talking about right there. That is the shoulder. You know, you cut a tendon on there, and then that gives you your shoulder, and then you cut threads on there. But then I'm not going to give away too much, but I go back in and do some extra steps to that shoulder because I want that shoulder perfectly square and everything right about it. All right, so go ahead. Let me get out of the way, and you thread that on there. Whoa. Are you getting it?
I'm trying.
Yeah, it's harder than people think.
It's heavy.
Yeah, well, that's not the reason why. It's because the threads are cut so precise.
All right, I got it on.
All right, now let me on the other side. Here. Okay, now, let's thread it on there just a little ways. Now stop. Now show them end play. Wait, let me see if I can zoom in. Okay. No, end play at the tang. Up and down. Up and down, right? Show it. Now, try longitudinally, lengthwise. What do you feel longitudinally?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. And what do you feel here? Going to go in a little bit closer so you can really see this. All right, again, wiggle it. Little wee bit. Now, go ahead and thread it on 1 or 2 more turns. Keep going, a little more. Whoa, now stop there. Now wait, let me zoom in again. Now, go back to end play.
Less.
Yes, much less, right? Again, try to move it lengthwise.
Yeah, no.
0.
0.
Okay, now wait, let me back out of here again. Okay, now go another turn or 2. Okay, now, wait. Whoop. Wait, I got too many buttons now. All right, go ahead. Okay. All right, hold on. All right, another turn. 1 more. Okay, now. Okay, go ahead. Almost nothing, right? Now, go ahead and start bringing it up against the shoulder. Whoa. Wait, I want to get this. Okay, all right, go ahead. Okay, now easy, go slow, because I want them to see this. Right there. Oh, that's almost perfect. Grab the chuck and rotate it to, counterclockwise, like, whoa, that's enough. Okay, now back that off again, just a hair. Wait. Whoa, this is hard. All right, now, very slowly, bring that in. You're going the wrong way. There, right there. And that's what Harold Vaughn is talking about. We're talking about that joint that is right there. And how that when those two come together, it literally looks like the barrel grew out of the receiver. And that is absolutely, in my opinion, and in Harold Vaughn's opinion, Harold Vaughn actually, again, I'm not quoting this exact, but he attributed that joint right there to affecting accuracy more than any other factor, assuming that you have a good barrel and that you have a good receiver and a good scope and good bullets and good everything else. But right there, and I've been wanting to show that for a very long time, but our other cameras just simply weren't capable. And in fact, I want to try something right here, right now. I got a lot of buttons to push. Yeah, that didn't help. That didn't help. And that's almost too bright. Okay, so right there. Anyways, I've been wanting to show that for a very long time. And so you've got to get that right. I think that's it. Like I said, this is a bat, solid bottom, single shot, and this is chambered. Why don't you take that back off of there, Vicki? Screw that back off, and I'll see if I can point this camera down inside there. I don't know whether I'll be able to or not. Don't drop it.
No.
Something else I can mention while she's taking this off of here, because, you know, lots of people make pre-fit barrels. And boy, I could probably start, careful.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, see, it's careful. You have to turn it.
I'm afraid to turn it. It's stuck.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to talk about. So lots of people here, hold, let me shine down in there. Bring that over here in the light. Let me hold that. Because we've never been able to do this before. By the way, when it's right, you'll have a perfectly uniform oil line around the outside of that. All right, but that's what a bat receiver looks like down on the inside. Okay, now I'll come back to what I was talking about here in a second, but I want to show you this. I feel like half retarded here because apparently I'll use that word. I feel like I'm cameraman challenged. There's a lot of buttons on this thing, and it is big and it is heavy. Let me see if I can shine right down in there.
Do you need a light?
I don't know if a light would help. Well, that's about as good as I'm going to be able to do it. Anyways, you get to see what it is. But what I was starting to say is, I always digress. It's hard. I mean, there's a reason why there are certain people, and that's what they're called. They're camera people. That's what they really are. Well, there's a lot more to it when you get to a real camera. By the way, here, hold that. Put that strap over you. There's a lot more to being a camera person than someone who doesn't do it might think. The other deal is it's heavy and it's very expensive, so you sure as heck don't want to drop it. But I started to talk about pre-fit barrels. Okay, pre-fit barrels are fine and well. I mean, and obviously they work. To some degree, they work. I mean, the thing about pre-fit barrels is, unless it's luck or chance, a pre-fit barrel can never fit on a receiver the way that this receiver fits on that barrel. Because part of the idea of true custom is, Vicki, if you hold that camera down there, I mean, I never thought I would want a 7-foot tall wife, but for being a camera person, I think it would help. This receiver fits on that barrel as perfectly as you can get it and still have it go on, because you got to be really careful so that they don't gall together. By the way, when you're putting receivers on barrels, you don't ever want this to be completely dry. And when you're doing it the last time, I use grease. Some people use anti-seize, but I use a certain type of red grease over there that I've been using forever. And when guns come back years later and I have to pull them apart, that grease actually, for being just cheap Walmart grease that comes in a tub, it works pretty darn good because they come back apart, they do not gall, everything looks good. So, but anyways, you have to have something on there because when the threads get that tight, if this was dry, which it is not, and that was dry, which it is not, when she came to that sticking point right there, if it galls, game over. And that's an enormous amount of work, plus it's like a $500 barrel. So anyways, you want to always make sure you have some type of grease or lube on there. But that I always digress here. What I'm saying is about pre-fit barrels is, unless it's luck or chance, a pre-fit barrel cannot fit your receiver, probably will not fit your receiver, the same as a true custom barrel threading receiver job, because they have to make it to a standard. There has to be a certain tolerance. And so if and I have guys call me up and ask me to do this, they'll say, well, I have such and such a gun, will you just, they say spin up. I don't like that term. Will you spin up a barrel for me? And I generally say, I would most certainly rather have the entire gun. That way, or at least I have the receiver, because if I have the receiver, I'm not just doing it to a standard measurement, okay? I'm not doing it to a print. I am doing it to the receiver itself. And for instance, and this is, I'm just showing you this. This is not I'm not speaking badly or being derogatory in any way of bat. But this receiver right here, if you read the print, is supposed to be 1.1 That's 1.125. And they get them really, really good, but I don't know whether she'll be able to show you this or not, but because she's up on a stool. But this particular one measures 1.127. Okay? So if you had turned your tenon to 1.125, which is what the print says, the receiver would actually be 0.02 of an inch larger than your tenon. Now, the way I do this is, first of all, I measure it like I just did, and I get a rough number, but I don't even really care what that number is, because to me, it's not the numbers, it's the fit, because I totally believe, like Harold Vaughn, that it's the relationship between the barrel, especially the shoulder, and the receiver that contributes to extreme accuracy, above and beyond what we'll call normal accuracy, okay? So what I do is I'll take a measurement, say it's 1.127. That's what I get on the caliper. But it's, by the way, calipers can only measure to about half a thou. These aren't going to 2/10 thou or whatever, no matter what it says on the scale. And really, calipers are more about 1 thou, okay? So that being said, I'll take a measurement. And then I'll go over there and I'll start turning my tenon down, right? And when I get to about, say, like 1.130, what I do is I take the actual receiver over onto the tenon and I see if it'll fit. And it won't at 130. So then I'll take maybe 1 thou. So I'll go to 1.129 and I'll see, does it fit? And it's kind of interesting with steel. Even though 1.129 might be a hair too big, it'll almost go on. You get like this weird, like if you really pushed it, like maybe, but no. And so I'll go back, and then maybe I'll only take 5/10 thousandths off of the next pass, right? Just a dust coming off of there, and I'll see, does it fit? And it'll be like almost, you know what I mean? It almost fits. I'll go back, maybe I'll take again 5/10 thousandths again. And what's really interesting is it'll just go like, and just suck right on there. And I mean, it's weird because, you know, I think you got 100, 150 thou clearance right here. It just goes on there and it's like, whoa, that is like almost totally perfect. If it was 2/10 thousandths larger, it wouldn't go on. And then what I generally do, depending on what it feels like, I will go back and take 2/10 thousandths or 3/10 thousandths or whatever this lathe is capable of. The DRO will say 2/10 thousandths, but it indeed may be 3/10 thousandths. This you can't say definitively, oh, I'm going to take 2/10 thousandths in this environment. You can't do that, all right? I'm just trying to make you aware of that. So then I'll just take, and I mean, you can just barely see dust coming off of it on that pass, and then you'll go back and you'll put it on again, and it just is like, yeah, that is perfect. Okay, then once you get that done, I go back and I do what I call shoulder work. I go back and recut that shoulder exactly to perfection. And I even undercut it just a hair, okay? And I'm not going into all that. And then it's time to thread it. Now, of course, I'm single point threading, and I'm not using a lay down insert. I'm not saying that those aren't good. What I'm saying is I can't feel it as well. So I'm using a single point threading tool. And, you know, I start out like 5 thousandths, 4 thousandths, 3 thousandths, 2 thousandths per pass I'm talking about, till you get down to where you're only taking 1 thou a pass. And what I'm doing is I'm screwing it on, trying to screw it on. So literally, I'm making the threads that are on my tenon fit the threads that are in these bat receivers. And when you're doing this all by hand, working that close, you can really tell, say, the quality of the receiver you're using or the receivers that you use, because you're seeing the same numbers on your DRO and you're seeing the same numbers on your compound as you're cutting your threads, right? And so they're very good. I mean, they're very good. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. They are not perfect. But the threads, the amount, the depth of the thread, everything about it is very good. It really is. And the one thing I really like about these is that this face, when I get that perfect, this is perfect. I mean, it's as perfect. I have no way of measuring. I do not have the tools to be able to find out, well, is it 2/10 thousandths higher or lower here than it is over here. I do not have the ability to measure that. But when I screw them together, like I showed you on the video there, I do have the ability to see that when they come together, and she didn't mention this, did you say it?
Yeah, I didn't say it, but I felt it.
Yes, there is actually, it's a weird thing. It's like it's coming up and it's coming up, and then there's almost like a click.
It's like bunk.
Yeah, it like kunk, and there's like almost like a little jog or something in it when them two surfaces come together. And if you do it, if you put this on here, say you put this on here and you're threading it on and you kind of go like that with it, good luck. You might hardly be able to get it back off, because when two near perfect surfaces come together, it's like they develop like their own suction, and it's like, say you put it on with 10 pounds, but you got to take it back off with 40 pounds. I mean, it really, the other thing too is, like I said about the oil, you can see the oil build like a little wake the whole way around it. And that wake, because I'm using 3X cheaters generally when I'm doing that stuff over there, you can see that the height and width of that little wake of oil, ridge of oil, is exactly the same the whole way around. And when it's like that, you got it right. And the deal is, like I said, there's no play like this ever. And there's always, to go on, there has to be just a little bit of end play until it finally bumps up. But once it finally bumps up, then that's it. And by the way, this customer and I, we were just talking about how we were going to headspace this. And this is the headspace gauge. I mean, my God, look at the headspace gauge is bigger than that's as big as a 30-06 cartridge. How we were going to do it, because you can have it, this is a go gauge, that's all we have. You can have it so that the bolt sort of, like the handle will go halfway down, or you can have it where the handle will go down with a little bit of resistance, or you can have it so the handle, by the time you get to 1 thou clearance, you'll feel the handle drag just a little bit, but it'll go down without very much resistance. By the time you get to 1.5, you can feel something, but it just kind of goes down. And then I have shims to be able to check it. And anyways, we were talking, and we agreed that we wanted to run between 1 and 2 thou over the gauge. And I said to him, I said, well, you realize 1 to 2 thou, I mean, that's a really small measurement. I mean, it really is, to say, okay, I'm going to get it exactly 2 thou deeper than the gauge. And you know what? So I did it, and it ended up close as I can measure. It's 1.5 thou. And again, some of that is luck. I mean, if anybody tells you, oh yeah, I can headspace my guns to 2/10,000s, I say BS. Okay. Anyway, so it ended up 1.5. Now, what's interesting about that is you realize when this receiver comes up against that shoulder, hand tight, well, that's not tight enough, right? It has to be torqued on down. And so that 1.5 thou clearance that I have right now, it is going to take up 0.5 thou for sure, maybe 1 thou. It depends. It's kind of weird. I've done many of these now, and different receivers, different barrels, different shoulder diameters, they all crush just a little bit different. But people, when they teach you, people assume that it's going to crush somewhere between 1 and 2. If anything, with these bat receivers, because they're so strong, and because I run bigger diameter barrels with more shoulder, I would say they generally crush a little less than 1, has been my experience. But anyways, I just wanted to show you all that crap. There's a lot of cool stuff here. This 358 Ultra Mag Alaskan, this is a heck of a cartridge. I mean, look at that thing. Again, if I was young and I could go back, of course, we didn't have these components. We didn't have these bullets, any of that stuff. But you just imagine shooting elk or moose with that, or big bears, or for that matter, taking this to Africa, shoot zebras, stuff like that. Nothing's walking away from this. All right, see you guys later.